Okay, as soon as we're here now, we can talk a little bit about recovery. So just looking at this vehicle, obviously we're following. You've almost made it over actually, so we're actually further over the dune this way than we are that way. So looking at the vehicle, the best place to recover it is going to be from the front. So I'm going to take my car and just bring it in front of you. And we'll do it face to face, so therefore we can use hand signals, we can see each other, and everything's clear. So we won't be using our new rear recovery points in this instance, but we'll get you hooked up and we'll get you out of here in no time. But yeah, it's one of those things that happens basically because you've only got so much clearance between the wheels. So this is what we call the classic beached whale getting stuck situation, and that's where the height of the vehicle may be a slightly more limiting factor. However, we have got a fairly aggressive crest on this dune, so without momentum to get over it, which sometimes we're also a little bit hesitant because we don't know what's on the other side. So it's always a fine balance between getting over the dune and making sure you're not going too fast to come into contact with a bush or a tree that could be on the other side. So this does tend to happen as a fairly common occurrence when you're out in the sand and to actually get stuck. But what I'm really glad about is it's you. That's the first one to get a Hilux stuck.
But this is what happens when you're
desert.
erring on the side of caution.
Well done, well done.
That's good.
No, absolutely, it happens, but I have to give you some stick. Sorry, man. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing is using the soft shackles. We talked earlier about the plastics underneath the vehicle, and if we're using a hard bow shackle, there's going to be possibly some damage to the underside of the vehicle. So we're going to use the chassis mounted points that come from the factory. We're going to use the soft shackle, and the way that we attach that is we use the lower loop, put it around through this, tighten it up, and then what we do is we put the knotted end next to the actual recovery point, so it's nice and tight. And obviously we're going to be attaching the tow strap as well as part of that. So both of these vehicles, because we're doing it face to face, so Pete and I can both see each other, we can use hand signals if necessary. Yeah, so we're going to do the same on each of these vehicles. Fortunately today we did remember 2 soft shackles, so it's great that we're fully equipped obviously for this this situation.
I think it's important to remember at this stage is when you're recovering a vehicle like this, the safety is always like a key thing to bear in mind, which is where these soft shackles work also. I mean, if there is an incident, sometimes the hardest shackles, when they do snap or break, they become a missile and they fly through some windscreens or the back of a car sometimes. With these, there's no issue.
Absolutely, which is why it's great to have the factory mounting points. People have aftermarket bumpers and these types of things, and then the lowest common denominator is the bit that they've added onto the vehicle afterwards.
That's the one that's the problem.
That's the one that's the problem. With this, we're using the factory mounted points, soft shackles. So in terms of the procedure that we're now going to use for the recovery, is that we'll go and ease it out. So we've got almost a tense rope, but after that, then we'll kind of give you an indication that I'm pulling you. So the vehicle, like we do with the winch, that I'm going to go, and then you stick the thumbs up and then we'll pull it out. So the way that we'll work, and obviously you know this, but we'll just repeat it anyway for the people watching, is that we're going to put it into gear and we're going to have the wheels moving very slowly. So again, there's very minimal resistance to the vehicle as we start to pull it forwards. So as soon as you have traction, then the vehicle's going to go nice and slowly out of that. Obviously we're not giving it revs, we're just getting the wheels just turning very, very slightly, just to go and give less resistance to get the vehicle out.
And so for the recovery vehicle, when they see the wheels turning, they also know that you are ready and prepared for the recovery that's coming next.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this. I don't think we need to go and give it much of a tug. No. It should just need a little nudge and it should be out of here.
And also on the safety element, to add one more point, so if there are any bystanders, children, kids, family members, whatever, is to be at least the distance of the rope away from the people, so as far away as possible, in case anything goes wrong.
100%. Easy.
I mean, this is our first recovery now, and I think the vehicle's being so light makes a breeze getting them off.
Yeah, that was easy. I mean, I hardly felt any resistance, to be honest, as I pulled you out there. It was nice and smooth. That's exactly how you want a recovery to happen. So yeah, it was good.
Well done.
First impressions, great. Anyway, well done. Congrats on the first recovery and getting stuck.